Okay, my 8th tip is pretty much like a no-brainer. Make a habit of keeping water around you, any type of hydrating beverage like apple juice, cranberry juice, stuff that nourish you, like coconut water, the hydrating stuff. Try to avoid the sodas. The sodas dehydrate you, and they have studies showing that sodas and other stuff dehydrates you. And try to avoid the alcohol, especially if you want to sit there and keep your supply up. The sodas and the alcohol, any of those things that dehydrate you when you're trying to build up your supply, is something that you got to avoid. So whenever I'm going out, I pretty much, in the baby bag, I will have a bottle of water. Like right now, I have, and I'm always just drinking on water, having it in the baby bag on the go, carrying, as a backup. Like, instead of you having a baby bottle for the baby, you got to be accessible where because you're breastfeeding on demand. You pretty much carry the water in the water bottle as if, that's your beverage, so you can produce that milk. So staying hydrated, keeping water around you at all time. Always keep something to keep you hydrated, and I think that just helps with your supply overall. Okay, so my 9th tip actually correlates with the 8th tip, and that's actually to stop drinking sodas. But it's your preference. So, yeah, try to avoid drinking sodas when you're breastfeeding, because that dehydrates you, and you want to stay hydrated so you can produce more milk. Okay, so my 10th breastfeeding tip is just something that's pretty straightforward and simple. But whenever you're going out with your baby, or even if you're leaving the baby with someone, always try to breastfeed your baby before you go. So instead of having a fussy baby or a baby that's crying and everything, if they're like well fed and nourished, most of the time they'll go to sleep and they're comfortable. So always try to make a habit of breastfeeding the baby before you leave the house to run any errands, or to go out to eat or whatever, just so you can sit there and have like more leeway time so the baby won't be fussy and crying to feed again. Okay, my 11th tip is to continue taking your prenatal vitamins, especially for those who don't have a well-balanced diet and not incorporating the fruits and the vegetables daily. So having the prenatal vitamins helps with the nourishment and the vitamins that you're ultimately giving your baby when you're feeding them. So my 12th and last tip is to get connected with other breastfeeding moms. And I say that because a lot of times when you're struggling and you want to give up, having like-minded individuals around you will keep you motivated, because sometimes you're not always around people within your family that's going to support you with breastfeeding. Like, you got to have that self-will and that determination to stick it through. So finding a breastfeeding support group around you, or linking up with people, they have breastfeeding communities on Facebook. Like, finding a group of like-minded individuals will actually keep you from giving up and throwing in the towel, because it can be a struggle at times as a breastfeeding mom, especially if you're doing it for the first time. So I have a lactation specialist in my area that has a breastfeeding support group that's free, and I think it'll be like probably about 10 moms that's all in different journeys or process in their breastfeeding. And there's some who's there who has like a 3 or 4 year old that they're still breastfeeding, and there's some that has newborns that they're breastfeeding. it's some women that's like pregnant who's trying to learn more information about breastfeeding. But linking up with the support group is, in my opinion, is vital, especially if you want to learn more, or if you're struggling with continuing to breastfeed. And also, I want to mention is that they do a global big latch, and this pretty much supposed to take place like all over, like worldwide. And you find I guess you can sit there and Google it or research, just type in big latch on, and usually they have this event that first week of March. Is it March? No, that first week of August every year. So that first Saturday of August, they usually have the big Latch On event. And at this event, they have a lot of moms, and it's a public event. But at the public event, they have breastfeeding moms that come out with their kids, and they all come together and breastfeed their kids publicly. So usually they have like vendors, and they have different things going on, and they give you some educational information, or usually you'll find people around your community that's lactation consultants or whatever organizations that supports breastfeeding. They usually show up, but it's a global event, and this big latch on takes place all over at the same time, and it's usually that first week in August, that Saturday in August, that first week each year. So do that, and I strongly believe that it will make your overall breastfeeding experience an easier process with having people that you can go to when you're struggling with something, because most of the time it'll be someone who will be able to help you through, or they've been through what you're struggling with when it comes to breastfeeding. Okay, so that's all of my breastfeeding tips, and if you learned something new, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, or like or subscribe. If you learned any new techniques or any takeaways, just let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video, and have a nice day.